Hello everybody, welcome back to my video blog. Today I thought I would show you how to use the principles I developed for working in the gym, either as a meditation or as a source of life force energy cultivation, but also as a way to harmonize your body, energize your body, and get ready for a workout, particularly if you got up late or you didn't get enough sleep or you're feeling a little off or you're not sure if you want to train or you go to lift weights and all your warm-up weights feel heavy and you just sense that you don't have the fire in you for a proper workout, which I would remind you that the general rule is if you can't improve on your last workout by 1 to 3%, you don't belong in a gym. And a lot of people actually have this go, 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 more, no pain, no gain attitude, but that can be very dangerous for productivity. Also, if you train and you're doing any kind of technical lifting when you're tired, your skills are going to drop down. And remember, your body always remembers the last couple of repetitions, which are the ones that are likely to be with the worst form, because those are the greatest threat to the system. So if you're pushing yourself to just struggle through a workout, what you don't often realize is that the last reps that you're doing are remembered by the nervous system, but the other reps that were good aren't remembered. So by taking time to do what I'm about to show you before you train, you can energize, vitalize, and go from being in a state where maybe you shouldn't be working out to reharmonizing, energizing, and integrating your body, and then coming to the realization, hey, I think I'm ready to work out now, and then doing your warm-up and working into a natural flow. So the key thing is, if we want to bring life force energy in, working in, we don't want to spend more energy to do the exercise than it costs to do the exercise. So the key thing is you shouldn't have an elevation of your heart rate. Your heart rate should not go up. Your breathing rate should not go up. You should be able to do it comfortably on a full stomach, and your tongue should not start to dry out. If your tongue starts to dry out, it means your sympathetic nervous system is getting activated. We want to stay parasympathetic. That's to digest, metabolize, and regenerate branch of your nervous system. So because it activates your digestive system, your tongue tends to stay moist because your digestive fluids flow, so your mouth stays moist. So I'm going to do this with kettlebells. I'm going to do a breathing clean to press. Now, I'm using light kettlebells because, again, it's very easy to put enough load on your body, even with light loads, to push your heart rate up and your breathing rate up, which we don't want. So I'm going to show you the technique. You can do it with 1 kettlebell, you can do it with 2, and you can do this with almost anything, with a bent over row, with a cable pull, with a deadlift. So I'm just basically introducing you to this concept. I've spoken about it before, but it's been a while since I shared this. So since there's probably a lot of new members subscribing to my channel, I thought I would just remind those of you that have seen this before and inspire those of you that haven't to know how to use this technology. So the first thing we're going to do is we got to remember to time the movement with our breath. Anytime you're getting longer, you should be inhaling. Anytime you're getting shorter, you should be exhaling. That's a key principle of the science of breathing and movement. Too much to explain why, but it's true. It has to do with how the spine functions and how the body moves with inspiration and expiration. Just remember, when you inhale, you activate your extensors because your spine gets longer to open the rib cage, so you create a negative pressure in the thorax. When you exhale, your spine gets shorter, and that brings the rib cage down, and so that's exhalation. So we want to start. We're going to go at a breathing pace and time the movement to the breath. Inhaling. At the top, just let your body pause until you have a natural urge to breathe out, and exhale. And right when I finish the breath, the weight should touch the ground. And then I pause until I'm ready to breathe in, inhaling through the nose anytime you possibly can, which is important because there's nerve endings in your nose that are parasympathetic and they stimulate the parasympathetic system. Anytime you breathe through your mouth, your body thinks you're in a fight or flight reaction that activates the sympathetic system, so you start working out at a neurological level. So inhaling through the nose helps keep you parasympathetic. So we're going to inhale. Big belly. Exhale. Now you want to use light weights, as I said, but you also want to be able to go into a meditative state so you don't have to think a lot. So you shouldn't be like, struggling with the weights at all. So oftentimes when I'm doing it, I just close my eyes. I got to get my breathing cycle back, and it's more meditative. Whenever you're learning a new exercise, it's the neuromuscular aspect of the exercise that causes the most rapid escalation of strength for about the first, 3 weeks to 6 weeks, where you're training the nervous system to be more efficient with how it recruits the muscles. So what the research shows is it doesn't matter how much the weight is at all. It's just doing the movement. In fact, I've seen studies where people just do the movement and pretend they're doing it, and they strength test them before and after, and they can gain as much as 30% strength in as little as 3 weeks, because you're just improving the neuromuscular system connection, so the nervous system learns to be more efficient at how it recruits the muscles, and that increases your strength. Point being is, as you're doing any of these exercises, it's a great time to really focus on your technique, whatever you're doing. With this exercise, what you want to do is pay attention to the weight distribution between the balls of the feet and the heels. So you don't want to lean forward too much or throw back too much. So as I'm doing it, I'm paying attention to what I'm feeling in my feet the whole time, so that I'm actually training my body, even with a really light load, to move in what I call the groove. The groove of an exercise is the pathway of optimal efficiency. So no matter what the exercise is, when you're in the groove, you're in that balanced state of mechanical efficiency and neuromuscular or energetic efficiency, so that there's this sense of ease. It's almost like when you're in the groove, it's as though the weight's almost lifting itself. It's like a flow state experience. Another tip is, if you're doing this, and all of a sudden you notice your heart rate's starting to go up, then all you got to do is shorten the movement to decrease the effort. So let's say my heart rate was speeding up. I would slow the movement down, and I might not go all the way to the floor. The difference is, when you're going all the way to the floor, it's a longer movement, therefore it requires a longer breath cycle. If it's a shorter movement, let's say you find yourself to where you can only go here, so then you would just focus on inhalation, exhalation. Now the other thing is to get the best effect of this, I find you need a light enough weight that you can keep your heart rate down and your breathing rate down to baseline for at least 30 repetitions. If you're not able to get comfortably 30 reps, you're going to be working out quickly. And so you're going to have to chop the movement down, and soon you're going to find that you can't even do it without crossing the threshold into a workout. Now let's say you got to 20 repetitions and you can feel that you're breathing too fast, and maybe you've already chopped the movement. Well, then you could just go to 1 kettlebell and cut the load in half. And if you wanted to, then you could grab the other one and go alternate, or you could switch hands on the way down. There's a lot of ways to do it. The key thing is, you're going to develop neuromuscular efficiency. You're going to practice proper form. So doing it in front of a mirror, for example, is very helpful. You're not going to let your heart rate speed up. You're not going to let your breathing rate speed up. Not that you're going to try to resist it. You just know that you need to do a light enough load that you can do that naturally. You want to get at least 30 repetitions, but quite often when I give these types of exercise to athletes, I will give them 60 to 100 rep sets because I want to take them into a meditative state. And I want to harmonize the breathing and the movement of the body because that harmonizes the heart, the breathing apparatus, the mind, and the peristalsis of the gut. So it brings the body into a coherent, integrated state, which makes it very, very efficient. And for those of you that are deep thinkers, what you can do is you can use these types of moving meditations, especially if you're kinesthetically dominant, like a lot of athletes are. You can find yourself having very big intuitive insights where all of a sudden you get the answers to a question or how to deal with a problem that you had because you're actually in a meditative state and you're harmonizing your body. So when your field comes into a state of coherence, your whole energy field will come into a state of coherence with your body. Now you're like a finely tuned antenna system. We could call it electromagnetically tuned because all your heart puts out a magnetic field something like 5,000 times bigger than your brain. Your brain has the second largest field, your gut the third largest field, which is why those are called biological oscillators because they're actually regulating the rhythms of your whole body. So when you bring your heart, your brain, and your gut into harmony while doing this moving, you're not only cultivating a lot of life force energy, but when you become coherent, you can access information that normally doesn't penetrate the chaos of your mental, emotional field because your mind's jumping around and it's too focused. So when you do this, you want to go into an empty-minded state, or what a lot of Zen practitioners and Buddhist practitioners and Taoist practitioners call a no-mind state. So you don't have to, if you're experienced at weightlifting, like I don't have to think about the technique, but then you can just drop into this meditative state. If I was a little tired, part of me says you really should work out today. Part of me says maybe I'm a little too soggy, might not do a very good job. The smart part of me says, hey, that crazy Paul Chek dude taught me how to work in, master my technique, calm my mind, harmonize my biological oscillators, cultivate life force energy, and get myself in a state of inner harmony, coherence. And then guess what happens? You might have the best workout of your life even on a day that you felt like the warm-up weights were heavy, because now you're coherent, you're integrated, your mind is calm, and you are ready to do the job right in the gym and really do something in there instead of just making friends. And you also know that after you do that, if you go back and your warm-up weights still feel heavy, that you don't belong in a gym. You should be stretching, joint mobilization, sauna, cold plunge, massage, acupuncture, whatever it is that your body really needs. And that's how you get to be an old guy like me who can still lift big rocks and give the young athletes a good seeing to here in the gym. So lots of love. See you next time.